Hello my friends, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're all having a great day. Today I am going to recreate a look that I wore in a couple of videos using the Viseart Warm palette. So many of you really wanted to see a makeup. It is a very natural look of makeup that I did using this. And I already have my foundation and concealer on because I just did a sample Sunday using a couple of products. Everything will be listed and linked below for you. I thought I would go ahead. I am using the new Eco Tools sponges. They will come in a sample Sunday, but I figured I would go ahead and use them for baking underneath my eyes. I also am using a newer concealer that I normally use. That will all be listed and linked below for you. I'm going to try to keep this tutorial painless. All right, so I'm just going to take my Mercier. Again, I'm using a new concealer, so I don't really know how this is going to play with baking, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. I'm going to hold a mirror up today while I'm doing my tutorial because I have so many videos that I have planned and everything is sitting in front of me. So I have my makeup sitting in my lap and I don't have a mirror in front of me, so I'm going to use my little magnifier here and hope that we get the job done, okay? I can already tell you that I need to take the creases out from underneath my eyes because I've been yakking at the jaws again. So I'm just going to take it and bake underneath the eye with this sponge. It's a really nice shaped sponge. It has a wedge-like shape, so it really works under the eye well. And this is the smaller of the two that you get in the pack. I'm just going to tap out any folds and go ahead and tap my powder underneath just to set it. I don't go crazy with it. I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to make sure I have no creases on the top. And I'm going to go ahead and set my eyes on top. Okay, concealer is set. And also I have set my eyelids. So we will move forward to the next step, which will be, I'm going to powder my face first. And I'm going to use a separate powder. I have fallen madly, deeply, so crazy in love with this LaPrairie, and I did not want to. It's very expensive. I mean, the price that we're paying for it is absolutely unbelievable. I did go ahead and get the Mer brush. Actually, Michelle from Makeup MLC gave it to me for Christmas. I believe it was Christmas or my birthday, I'm not sure. And I just love it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of that LaPrairie powder. I'm going to tap it off, and I'm just going to go ahead and tap around my face lightly. Forehead. This is just to take the edge off of the tackiness so that I'm able to put some other products over it. So I'm just going to go ahead and sweep down because I'm due for a little facial shaving. So we will just work down so we don't have any of those hairs standing up. Okay, and this powder is beautiful. So while I have this here, I'm just going to sweep away the powder that I used underneath my eyes. Okay, this is basically to introduce you to the Warm palette by Viseart, but it is, I'm going to try to breeze through some things. I am using, this is my Givenchy. I've hit pan on this bronzer, and this is a fan brush. I will have everything listed and linked below for you. No. Anyway, fan brush, I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to run it back and forth in that bronzer, and then I'm just going to sweep it like a blush. I'm not really contouring, just sweeping like a brush. Okay, and I'm just going back and forth, see? And then I'm going to sweep up into my hairline. No fancy hairdo today. I just wanted to get this tutorial done. Okay, so there we have it. I'm working off this viewfinder, okay? I'm going to see how well I do because it would make things a lot easier. And the contacts only give me so much vision. All right, I'm just going to put a tad more right here because I want to warm up my skin a little bit. You can run under the jaw and a little bit down the neck to blend it in. Okay, you can also go down the center, okay? So there we have that. I catch myself saying okay a lot, you know? All right, so now this is a faux Nars brush. It's not the Nars brush, it's a faux. And I am going to use, I absolutely love the Chanel Spring Blush. Okay, so I'm going to sweep really quickly in it. And then I'm just going to tap it on my cheek area. Really quick, go through it again and tap it on my cheek area. And let me look and see. I'm looking okay. All right, I'm just going to tap it again lightly, and then I'm going to sweep it off a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and just place it. Okay, I'm going to run it over my eye just slightly, because this is a very light eye look. A little stronger in the lips, so I just want to get a little bit of my blush color. Okay, so there we have it. All right, that's an old trick of the gold in the Chanel quad that came out right here. And I'm going to take a fan brush, and I'm just going to pick up the goldish tone, and I'm just going to sweep it lightly on my cheek area here. I love this because it's a yellow-based gold, so it really just blends right into my skin, which I love. All right, so this is the look that I wore the other day, and believe me, it was so simple, my friends. It is from the Viseart Warm palette, and I had on this color here, this color, this one, and then I went into the orange, and I did top a little bit of this. So I'm going to take a MAC flat brush. It's my fat little one. All right, so I'm going to go into this color here, the top row, and I'm going to just tap it on this big brush. And then this is where it's going to get difficult for me. I'm just going to tap it. Watch where I'm tapping. I'm not really going all the way up with this color alone until the brush gets almost empty, and then I sweep it up a little on the under the brow. Okay, so I'm going to pick up some more of that color and just plant it right in the crease area and lid, and then I'm going to do a light sweep. I'm not using any tape today because this is not a dramatic look. Okay, so I'm just going to tap that color on. I find that tapping this color on first is best. I get less fallout, although the Viseart, I'm always amazed when I hear someone say they don't like the Viseart shadows, because in my years of doing professional makeup, and when I did professional makeup, I worked for many photographers, I worked for model agency, our news anchor people, I did all their promo shots. If they had personal private pictures they wanted done, I would work with a photographer, like if they wanted to have a picture done for their husband or something. And of all the shadows I've used, I find these to be the absolute best. They are very expensive, but to me, worth every single penny. Now, you have to use the colors that are best suited for you, or you're not going to like them. Okay. All right, going to take a blending brush. I'm going to go into this color here. All right, it's a light peach tone, and I'm just going to, I'm going to need my mirror for this, okay? All right, so I'm taking that color, tapping it off lightly, and I'm just going to go into the crease, and I'm actually tapping the color on. And then I'll just sweep it to blend it. Notice I'm not dragging down on the side of my eye. And I'm just giving myself a little contour here. So I'm going to go in, got a piece of fuzz, all right? You know, I was telling Lisa the other day, she was talking about matte eyeshadows, and I told her that I really like the Viseart matte shadows, because to me they're matte, but they have some sort of, when you buff them, there's a little bit of gloss that comes out in them, which I think makes them really special. So again, I'm just going to build that up a little bit and just do a light sweeping, and then I'm just going to lightly lift up because I have a slight hood because I am a little older. So I'm just going to lift that up, and I just keep my eye relaxed and normal when I'm doing this because, you know, you can see better where you need to place it. You know, when you're stretching your eye, this, that, and the other, you're changing the dynamics of your eye. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tap that on, and I'm just going to sweep it. Our next color is going to be the orange one in the center, and I have always loved orange eyeshadow. It is so suited for my skin. I just love it. I'm going to take a Tom Ford brush and I'm going to go into that orange. Now, when you're working with colors like this, always go in with a light touch. Tap it so that you work it into the brush bristles. And if you can't get the hang of this, use your finger. And then I want to tap it right in the center here. And I want to make sure it's really concentrated in my center, because that's where I like most of my color. So I'm going to tap that. You can use your mirror. Tap it off. I just picked some more up. And I'm going to bring it up slightly. Look how beautiful that orange is. I just love it. I hope the camera's picking it up. It's beautiful. All right, going to tap that on. Notice I'm working just in this little segment here, in the center, okay? So there we have it. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, so both eyes have been done in just the center, about 3/4. You leave the inner and the outer alone. So now I'm going to take my pinky, okay? Just my pinky, and I'm gonna go into this color here, okay? So I'm gonna go, it's the redder of the browns. It's the second one. I'm just going to take my pinky, okay? So I have it on the edge of my pinky, because you're going to use, if you use a brush, you're going to need a really tight dome brush, and you just want to place that right here on the corner. You don't want to drag that down at all. I'm going in for a little bit more, and I'm just placing it in the outer corner, okay? Picking up a little bit more. You can build this up to whatever you like. And I'm just running slightly over that orange edge, okay? Okay, there we go. So I have it built up pretty well. Now I'm going to take a brush. I'm just going to take, I don't know, it's a Sigma. And I'm going to go like so. And I'm just going to soften the edge of that color. Now I'm going to take the same thing. I'm going to take my finger, my baby finger, and I'm going to take that bright orange right on the corner, and I'm going to pick some of that up. Now you don't want a lot of this. You just want a little bit of this, my friends. And you're going to put it right where that orange and that brown meet, almost in the crease, but not. Up a little bit higher, okay? So I hope you're seeing that. See? Let me exaggerate it for you. So I'm putting it right there, see? Then I'm taking a brush and I'm going to blend that down into the brown and orange in the corner, okay? Same thing on the other eye, my friends. So there you have it, okay? Those are the eyes on the top, very simple. And that's what they look like. Of course, they will pull together when I put my eyebrows on. So now I'm just going to take a Q-tip, or you can take a very flat, dense brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of that first color we worked with and just tap it in with the second color we worked with. And I'm going to tap it on my hand, and I'm going to lightly run this underneath the eye. I'm not really focusing on a lot underneath the eye today, because it was a very simple look because I'm wearing the bold lips. That's pretty much the eye makeup. And then I'm just going to take the sponge and I'm going to lightly pick up anything that may have fallen underneath my eyes. Don't rub this, just pounce it. It'll help pick it up. And then I'm going to, of course, do a tight line. And the tight line I'm going to do is my Apia by Nars. I can't help it. I absolutely love it. So I've tight lined this eye. I wanted you to be able to see the difference. Just that little bit of tight lining. And all you're doing is just running it very close to the lashes. I find this easier to do when I'm holding my eye open, but that is it, okay? So now, eyebrows. Now I have been doing my eyebrows very different. So I'm going to stay on camera because many of you have been commenting about my eyebrows, and I have not had any of the blading that's going on, tattooing, or anything like that. I've just really been, you know, practicing with them, and because I do use the Revitalash, I'm having a little bit of growth. So I just take a little spoolie and I brush them into shape. And you can see that I have very thin eyebrows. I mean, that comes from years of plucking when we were young. I hardly ever pluck at all. I just clean up right here. I don't do this to them. This is all I got left. So And I know many of you are sitting out there going, oh yeah, I know, I did the same thing. So I'm gonna take the Caramel by Anastasia. Now this is a two-step process. I have the brow gel because I have a lot of eyebrows that are pure white, and I get tired of trying to cover them. Mine won't dye. I have a salon now that will dye them, and it just doesn't do anything. So I am going to draw them in, and then I bought this because it's very similar to some of the colors that run through my hair. It is caramel, but it looks different than the liner. And I brush it through at the end, and it covers my white brows and makes them look like, it makes it look like I've highlighted brows, okay? It's because too dark a brow is very harsh on a woman. That's why I'm a little afraid of the blading that's going on. Because what if it's too dark? You know? I guess you have to find somebody that's really, really good. So I'm gonna take the Brow Wiz, okay? The Brow Wiz is the easiest for me to work with. You can use the Universal. If Maybelline or Revlon have one that's a wind up, very pointy, this will work. So now I'm gonna try to show you this the best way I can, because I do have to be close up to see this. So where my brow stops right here, I'm gonna draw a little line. So I'm going to take the pencil and I'm just, where my brows are, I'm just going to start a line, and I'm not, my brow arches up, I'm not going to go up to that arch. I'm going to continue with this here and draw right on my skin until it meets my arch, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and flick these up like little hair strokes. Now I can't use the pomade that they're using there, it's too harsh for me. So I'm gonna just continue to use my pencil and my gel because I think I've got it down. Okay, so I filled in that part. Now where I drew, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in, and then I'm just gonna meet the tail of my brow, okay? So right now it's looking a little funky, but have no fear, it will turn out. Okay, so that's that. Now I have to do the top part of it because I'm normal here, but then I dip down with no brows. So I'm gonna, now this is where you have to be really, really careful, and you have to practice because you don't want to be going crazy up. You want to stay as, and I find it's easier if I just take a sweep and go. And then go back, take a sweep and go. And just join where my brow is going to arch up and then come back down to meet it. Okay, so I'm really exaggerating it so you can see in color because I'm going to sweep through this and calm this color down. But I want you to see what I'm doing, okay? So you can tell that my brow now looks like a full brow, and you can see from each side how it really brings your face together. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the spoolie, and no two eyebrows are the same, my friends, so don't get discouraged if you're like, oh my God, I can't do what she did. My brows are different, so are mine. Mine are too, and this one doesn't come out as nice as this one because I'm also right-handed. I'm not left-handed. So I take my spoolie, and I'm gonna comb through just to get any little clumps out of it, to soften it where it may have been harsh. And then I just take a little brush and I go over to make sure I get any little fuzzies off. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So I'm gonna take the brow gel. Now when you come out of it, sweep some of that off. You don't need all of that. So now I'm just going to sweep through, and you'll see that this will lighten it because it's going to fill in all of my light ones, and they'll look blonde. And there we have it. And I always work up, and that is how I'm doing my brows now. And it really has helped to take a little bit of age up, because when our brows are so thin, it really shows. So I am going to go ahead and do my other brow. My camera's going to shut off any minute, and my battery's dying. So I'm going to change all that out, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and what I wanted to do before I go ahead and put my mascaras on, as mascara and lips, I wanted to show you how I use the Algenist Splash Hydrating Setting Mist. I absolutely love this. Love it. I just take it, and I spray all the way, go around, over my eyes, and I just Love this stuff. And then I go down my nose. Love it. And then it dries. Of course, you can use a little fan if you want. I know Lisa loved to use her blow dryer. Use whatever you like, and or just let it dry naturally by itself. But I don't suggest putting on your mascara first because you'll have little dots all over the place. So while that is drying, I am going to go ahead and do my lips. Now I'm going to use. The other day I tried some other lip liners with my Arthur by Chanel. And, I couldn't find my Roman Moon by Laura Mercier, so I finally found it. It was in my makeup bag in my purse, which I never carry anything. But I'm going to go ahead and do my lips now. When I'm wearing red, and I know this will sometimes accentuate lip lines, I make sure I have a good dose of powder on my lips, okay? And I also do foundation right over my lips because it helps to take out the blue that I struggle with. So the Roman Moon is a very nice orangey red, so I'm going to go ahead and do my lip. Okay, there's the outline. Now I'm going to fill them in because for this lipstick, I need, it's a wetter lipstick, so I need to have some substance under it. Fill my lip in. Touch them together. It's very important for me to wear a liner with red lipstick because of so many lip lines. Okay, so now I have the foundation of my lip liner on. I'm sure my red lipstick's gonna stay where I want it to. I'm gonna go in with Arthur. Thank you, Susan Lucci. All right, so there is that look. Now I'm going to put my mascara on, which I cannot do on camera, but I will tell you what I'm going to use. I'm going to put the Revita Lash Primer on my lashes first, which is a blue. And I find with doing my eyebrows this color, now you can use many different colors, brown mascara does look best and accentuate them. They really go well together. So Joelle sent me this Clarins brown, and it is number 2 Intense Brown. And it's got a nice old-fashioned brush. I love it. And it's proving to be a really nice mascara. So I'm going to put my mascara on and I will be right back. All right, my friends, I am back. Mascara's on. I really like this mascara too because I like a mascara that gives me length, but I like bulk too. I don't like spidery lashes. I don't like individual lashes like fanned out. I like a little bit of substance to my lash. And for the bottom with this strong lip, I put just very lightly on the bottom, you know, so I have no liner on the bottom. No, the shadow was so light that I actually put underneath, and it just all comes together. And I think if you're somebody who's really interested in the Viseart warm mattes, you have to be someone who's not afraid of color. But what's most important, my friends, is you can wear whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's all in your blending. So just, you know, if you just have to practice at home sometimes and you just start with a little bit and build up, it's always easier to add more than to take off. And if you make a mistake, don't go in and start rubbing it. You know, just take a Q-tip and clean up a little bit because you'll make a bigger mess trying to make everything perfect, and you'll just frustrate yourself. So baby steps, okay? And I think this is a great little spring look. I have always been a lover of red lips. Lou likes my red lipstick. You know, there's times when it's not appropriate. You need to be a little bit, you know, a little more subdued. But when we go out on date night and stuff, I bring out the big guns, and that's always in a red lip. I love it. But I love my peaches. But red for me in the spring and in the summer, it just makes me feel alive. And sometimes as we age, ladies, we need a little more color. Yes, we do. As always, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, subscribe. We're anti-aging here. Be happy, healthy, beautiful, and most of all, my friends, lovable. I love you all. Bisous.